Welcome back to Grains and Glass, your ultimate home brewing how-to YouTube channel. This episode, we're going to be packaging and carbing using the Blichmann Engineering Quickcarb System. We're really excited to be at the end of our first series. Hey guys, today we are packaging. My name is Thomas Monty from Schoolhouse Beer and Brewing. We are looking at our Hazy IPA that we've been brewing for a while, and we're going to be putting it in our keg. The great part about today is we're going to be looking at the Blichmann QuickCarb System. This is an inexpensive way to turn your keg into a brite tank. If you don't know what a brite tank is, we're going to talk about that soon also. So let's get going. Cheers. All right, now we're going to be transferring this from our catalyst fermenter into our keg over here, but first what we want to do is we want to get rid of the trub, the last bit of that secondary. Now this is heavily dry hop, so there's going to be a lot of residual hop matter in here. Not a big deal. We're going for hazy. It's not a big deal. Now, one of the things that I really want to talk about is a tip that we use. Using a bowl to make sure you don't make a mess. Your wife, your husband, your significant other is not going to like it with a bunch of wort sitting on the floor. So what I like to do is double check, make sure that this lever is up. That closes the valve. Now, make sure that when you start to unscrew this, that the three-piece valve doesn't come with it. You're going to have that wart in there, and that wart is really going to stick to the mason jar and that seal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this off really quick, and we're going to make sure it all goes in here. Yeah, we got a little bit of hop here. We got some hops. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to connect our bottling tube to this three-piece valve. In just a second, we're going to start moving it to the keg. Now I have the bottling funnel and hose hooked up. What I'm going to do next is actually make sure that the valve is on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the little clip here, and I'm going to run a little bit until I see that all the hop matter that I'm looking for right there is gone. We're talking less than, we've got about that much in there. Not much, just enough so when we keg that we're not going to get that residue in our keg. So to properly carbonate with the QuickCarb system, they're suggesting that your beer be in the low 40s to high 30s degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer this, put it in the cooler for about an hour, let it set, get it down to temperature, and once we have that, we're going to start setting up the QuickCarb system. I'm going to remove the QuickCarb, all it is a little bit of a clip, and I'm going to open up my keg that has already been sanitized. Trust me, we did sanitize this. We broke it down completely. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this beer into my lovely keg here. Now look at that color. That is that grapefruit color that we're looking for. Yes, it looks a lot darker up here, but you know that is that's the color that you're getting because there's so much in there. Once we get all this in here, into the keg, we're going to put it in the cooler for, like I said, about an hour. We're going to let it chill, and then we're going to hook it up to the QuickCarb system and show you how to use that. Cheers. All right, now our beer is chilled. It's down to 38 degrees. We're going to look at our carbonation table. As you see on this carbonation table, you'll see on the left is the temperature of the beer. We're at 38. We're going to go over on the chart to find the volume that you want. You can look online and there's a lot of different ways, but for IPAs, I usually like about 2.4 to 2.5 volume of CO2. Now I go back up and it's going to show me exactly how many pounds per square inch that we need on our CO2. You do not need a 50-pound tank of CO2. You can use your 5-pound tank, it's easy. What's nice about this is we have a splitter on here, so we can use our bottling gun at the same time. So the CO2 feeds into a carbonation stone. It is like a 0.05 micron carb stone, and it's going to put CO2. At the same time, the beer is going to come from the liquid line, which I'm connecting, through there. As it goes through there, it's getting carbonated and gets put back into the keg through the gas line. Now, all you have to do now is to connect your pump. And as you can see, we've got CO2 being put in to our beer. It's flowing through, everything's going good, and in about an hour, it's going to be ready to drink. All right, we've been going for about 20 minutes now, and you can tell that it's still getting carbonated. This top line up here, as you can see, is a lighter color than the bottom one. The bottom one, you can see the CO2 being formed inside the hose. So what we've got here is liquid, once again, coming through here, through the CO2 to the carb stone, and we're putting CO2 in it at the same time. All right, it's been an hour and our quick carb is completed. So how can you tell if it's done? You know, the instructions say once you don't see any more bubbles or any more carbonation going through. We've played that game before and it really doesn't work. So we always just go for the entire hour. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn the CO2 off of my 3-way manifold. I always turn this off. I close this just so we know that the CO2 is done. I unplug it. It being the quick carb, and I take the liquid post off, then the gas post off, and now I'm going to show you how to clean this. This is really simple how to clean. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the gas and the liquid line with a pair of pliers. Then I'm going to put it in a bath of, put the in and the out in a bath of PBW and let it run for a couple minutes. That will clean it all. Just remember, when you are going to run it the next time, make sure before you install it to run Star Sand through it also. So this is all you got to do is now know that is still under pressure. So you're going to have some beer coming out. I just do it right over my PBW. I do the gas line, and it's still under pressure. So, but remember, it's PBW. It cleans almost everything. Now I just connect it back up, and we're just running PBW through it. We like to let it run for about 10 or 15 minutes. There's really no reason to run it that long. The only reason we do, I'm a little bit anal when it comes to cleaning and sanitizing, like many of you are. Some of the other things that I wanted to tell you about, before we actually did this being the quick carb, I did put a layer of CO2 inside my keg for oxidation reasons. We've got the catalyst, that's what we've been using. There's no oxidation going on there anyways, so it's nice to actually put a blanket of CO2 in here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually connect a tasting line to my keg. I'm going to show you how to do that in 1 second. All right, now the time to tell if it actually worked. We've done this 100 times, so we know it did work, but I want to show you. So what I do now is I'm going to release all the pressure out of the keg. Now there was quite a bit in there. And the keg's going to be kind of warm right now, so it's going to run a little bit foamy. So you're going to see that. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to hook my tasting line up. And nothing should be coming out. Well, look at that. Like I said, it is coming out relatively heady. The reason why is we've got a lot of CO2 in there, and also we've got a lot of it's warm. So there we go. Now, what I'm going to do now is run a little bit of CO2 on it. And it should still be coming out very heady. But you can see that there is CO2 on it. That we do have carbon dioxide on our beer, and it is going very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bowl that I was using earlier. I'm going to pour this out. I know. To all my dead homies, what can you say? And I'm going to run a little bit of it into a glass one more time. Once this chills, we're going to get a much cleaner pour, and hopefully you'll see it right about now. Trained professional, don't do this at home. Now look at that. We told you it was going to be hazy. And with those hops, oh my goodness. Oh, got a little on my nose. Wow. That is an amazing, amazing beer. Once again, if you didn't watch the original, go back. Check it out. We've got the recipe online also. We really appreciate it. Our next series is definitely going to be on, we're either looking at the effect of length of boil on alcohol levels, or we're going to split batch and talk about different, split batch and do different types of yeast. Let us know. I got a poll going on right now. Let us know. Do you want to see length of boil, or do you want to hear about what the flavor differences between different yeast in a split batch are? As we always say, cheers. As always, please follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe. As you can see, we have a 10% off the Grains to Glass Quick Carb by Blichmann Engineering. Use this at our website or in our store. Cheers.